This is WICR.
From the basement of La Penta, this is your host, The Rock is on DePala, on this Tuesday, not Monday, but Tuesday, February 16th, 2016, on this rainy Tuesday, I should say. Now, this time of the year, there's not that many sport topics to go over, but you know what? There's NBA All-Star Game, and there's spring training, but let's get into the NBA All-Star Game. Now, usually the NBA All-Star Game, I get it. It's all publicity. It's all publicity. It's for fan entertainment. It's for all the celebrities who sit courtside, and to watch, the quote unquote best players in the world perform and do their things. But this NBA All-Star Game this year, it was very. I have to admit, this was the best one that I've seen. And this All-Star Weekend, this one was the best I have seen in a while. And we have to start, obviously, with the dunk contest between the defending champion, or I should say now, the two-time defending champion, and Zach LaVine. And he went up against Aaron Gordon of the Orlando Magic. Or Zach LaVine won the dunk contest, played for the Timberwolves, and Aaron Gordon from the Orlando Magic. Man, watching this on Saturday, woo, it was unbelievable. Just unbelievable. These guys, man, I'm telling you, they just did so many things, and they were just unbelievable. You know, you have Zach LaVine, doing the windmill dunk from the free throw line. Aaron Gordon just, swipe doing the between the legs between the legs, and like pretty much it looked like when you saw the dunk, he was sitting in mid-air. Man, this was like watching Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins play back in the day. Oof. I have to admit, in years past, the dunk contest, it was okay. I mean, there were some good dunkers. You think about like Vince Carter, or if you want to go way back in the day with Dr. J. When he first established, the dunk from the free throw line. When he first established the dunk from the free throw line. But I have to say that this year's dunk contest really brought a lot back. Really brought excitement and joy back. I have to admit, that the dunk contest, it wasn't, how can I say it? It wasn't as intriguing, or it wasn't as popular as it was back then. But I think this year kind of rejuvenated it. It made it exciting. People, were at the edge of their seat. It was jaw dropping, eye catching, whatever you want to say it. But this year's dunk contest changed everything. It did. There's no question about it. And also, you gotta give credit to Zach LaVine, man. This guy. And I just want to say you have to give credit to Zach LaVine, because man, this guy is just unbelievable. Is just a freak of nature when it comes to dunking a basketball. Now, is he an average? Now, when it comes to the court, is he an average player? Yeah, but overall, in terms of dunking and just entertainment, he is a force to be reckoned with. You have to admit that. And same, I guess you can apply the same thing with Aaron Gordon from the Magic as well. But referring back to what I said about how this dunk contest, like I said, this dunk contest just rejuvenated, you know, the event itself. It rejuvenated the event itself, because like I said, the dunk contest, it wasn't as popular back then, or it wasn't as popular in recent years. It was like, okay, dunk contest, part of the festivities. But man, I have to say, this was the best dunk contest I've ever seen. In my years of watching the NBA All Star Game or All Star Weekend, this was the best dunk contest I've ever seen. There's no, not a doubt in my mind that there was not another dunk contest better than the one that was performed on Saturday night in Toronto. And also, getting into other than the dunk contest, one thing that stood out to me was with the skills challenge when Carl Anthony Towns, yes, the rookie, the number one overall pick from the Minnesota Timberwolves, who's over 7 feet tall, has a power forward center body. It's just, and won the skills contest. And you have to admit, that's pretty impressive how a guy who's over 7 feet tall and can just has great dexterity, great ball, great dribble, and could just make the accurate passes. That says a lot, and it can kind of show how the game itself has kind of evolutionized throughout the rest, in recent years. Shows how the game has revolutionized in recent years. Because back then, back in the day, you didn't have guys who were 7 feet tall and dribbling between the legs, or those guys were premier defense, were just defenders, who stood under the basket. They stood under the basket, got rebounds, blocked shots, and scored in the paint. Nowadays, you have guys who are 7 feet, who are 7 footers, making making deep shots, hitting the 15, 20 foot jumpers, hitting 3 pointers. Anthony Davis is another prime example of that, and it's just crazy how the game has evolutionized. And that's our topics. That's our first topics of discussion this week for this segment, and we'll be back sure enough.